All right, do you want to do the intro?
Yes.
All right, well, take it away, Lil.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Overshare. It's me, Lil, here with Jocelyn, remotely, of course, because we're still in quarantine.
Remotely. Actually, Lils, I don't even think I've talked about this on our channel.
That you're kind of not in quarantine.
Well, I'm currently in Arizona because Chris had to come out here to look at a new project that we might be investing in, which is truly the most random thing of all time.
And the most adult sentence I've ever heard. Until you get to the RV part, actually.
Yeah, we might be investing in an RV and mobile home park. So that's why we had to come out here and look at it. And let me tell you, Arizona is like the promised land right now. It's basically like coronavirus never happened.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
You're right. You're totally right. Because for us, we're definitely still practicing social distancing and like wearing our masks and all that kind of stuff. But literally, I would say 90% of the people here are just like freely living their pre-corona lives like nothing ever happened. There's still some businesses that are not opened, but like, I mean, restaurants, everything. It's just like people everywhere. It's actually wild.
Oh my God. Well, speaking of, you're already getting me fired up. Time for our first segment.
So, over it.
What she said. Okay, so for over it, we like to get a little heated up, get our blood flowing before then we overshare whatever we're going to overshare about, which today is going to be bad roommates.
Today is amazing.
But we'll get to that in a minute. Right now, Jocelyn, what are you over?
Okay, so obviously, as per the usual, there are a lot of things I've over, but this that I'm about to share is something I've been over for a long time, have never talked about, and I also think is kind of controversial because we live in a large city where there are a lot of cars, a lot of public transportation, a lot of pedestrians, and a lot of people on cycles of all sorts, whether we're talking about scooters, bicycles, you freaking name it.
Would you call a scooter a cycle?
I don't know. Actually, that might have been a little bit of an overstatement.
Isn't cycling the act of
cycling with your feet?
Going in a cyclical motion?
Okay, so you caught me on that one.
Sorry, I'm focusing on the really important stuff as usual. Continue.
Literally, for as long as I can remember, I have had deep-seated issues with cyclists, specifically cyclists, who act like they are on a death mission, like they want someone to run them over. It is the most stressful thing in the world to me to be next to a cyclist. I don't know about you, but when my car is on like a small road or something and there's a bicycle right next to me, I basically become like paralyzed. Like I can't do anything or go anywhere because I'm so stressed out by specifically cyclists who just like zip in and out of traffic like they're on some death mission. It's crazy.
Are you that you
have you never had have you never had this experience?
I'm like picturing, I feel like there's like movie scenes where people are like bombarded by like a sudden bike race and like that's what you're describing right now. I would say
I have actually.
You've been in the middle of one?
Yes, I did once get caught accidentally in this thing called like Ciclavia or something. It's this annual bike ride that all these people do on the west side in LA.
I was waiting for you to say like the Tour de France.
Basically, that's what it was. And it was me and my Prius surrounded by like 1,000 bicycles. And I was just like, when you see in movies like in England where the car is surrounded by sheep, that's what I felt like was going on. And I didn't like it at all. Moreover, I don't understand the sport of cycling because it hurts your butt so much.
I feel like you're really going to offend the cycling community.
I know, but I'm just trying to be honest. If you are in the cycling community, please share with me something that will help me understand why you like riding a bike like to the top of a mountain. I just don't get it.
I have a friend that I see him post. He lives in Thousand Oaks and he goes like mountain bike, like downhill, and he puts a GoPro on like the handlebars. Oh my God. I responded. I was like, this gives me so much anxiety. Like, what if you just hit one little thing wrong? Like, he's going so fast. How do you not just fly off? But
that's why I'm saying
back to
it's
the
like a death
cyclist
mission.
show in traffic. I don't have as much of an issue or run-ins with like the aggressive ones, more the opposite of. They're like so not aggressive and so slow, and they think they're a car, and they just like are just taking their time, just going down the street, hanging out. But there's one lane, and I'm like, hello, there's 5 cars behind you. Can you please just get out of the way? And my question, and it's not even a question because I know what the answer is, they're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk. But I also think that there's 2 kinds of cyclists. For example, a novice cyclist should never be riding in the middle of a lane where there is traffic and a car could hit me. I should always be on a sidewalk where there's pedestrians because those are my people. I get if you're like going 20 miles an hour and you're keeping up with, I mean, where is there 20 mile an hour speed limit, I guess, but like if you're kind of keeping up with traffic, I get it. Or if like the car can kind of go around you. But if you like think that you get the whole lane, I'm confused on what the laws there are. And that's when there is no bike lane.
Yes. So it's interesting because I actually looked into this because in our neighborhood there are so many deaths. There's so many dangerous cyclists.
Culver is a very big cyclist neighborhood, I guess.
It is. So if there is a bike lane, legally you have to be in it. And if you're on the sidewalk, you'll get a ticket. So one day, Chris and I were riding like our beach cruisers, which don't even have speeds. Like they could go like maybe 1 mile an hour. And a guy came off of his porch and was like, you're going to get a ticket for riding that bike on the sidewalk. And I was like, come at me, bro. No one wants me in the street. Like, let's be real. So it's kind of like a source of me being rebellious as well, which is very exciting.
The only rebellious thing you've done in your entire life.
Yes, exactly. So if you're in the cycling community, I pre-apologize, but please share your wealth of information. Also, side note, my sister dated a cyclist and he was like the worst person ever. He would roll up to my parents' house in his like skin tight, like so tight around the ween region.
Not to
it was
be
just
shallow,
so uncomfortable.
But that's my only problem with the cycling. I just really don't, the outfits make me really uncomfortable.
It's just because like it's too tight on the crotch, you know? It's like, oh my gosh.
Everywhere. I'm just like how do they get
something
it on? Like, you think wetsuits are hard to get on? Those look even tighter.
I know. I feel uncomfortable thinking about
anyway.
it. Lily, what are you over?
Well, so I already had an over it that I was going to share that was just like, I'm over my chronic back pain. But, you know, I feel like kind of a broken record there, and everyone's like, we get it, your back hurts. More specifically, last night I had some weird eye thing go on, but I'm just, it's going to be too big of a tangent. So we'll keep it short. What I'm over right now, I am fully in support of stores not being open, only essential businesses. That's fine. But please tell me how Joann's Fabrics, for example, is considered an essential business. But the Genius Bar at Apple to do repairs on technology when everyone's working from home. How is that not an essential business? Please tell me that. Because that essential business, when it was essential and open before all this started, and I took my laptop in to get fixed, yeah, well, they fixed supposedly the things that were wrong, but then they broke the internet they didn't break it. They didn't reconnect to the Wi-Fi antenna or something. So now I have a laptop that it functions fine, I guess, except for that I can't get on the
then what's the point of even having a laptop at that point?
Exactly, and I can't even plug into the internet because it's the newer laptops that only have USB-C things, so I can't get the adapter. And you know what? Can't even go to the Apple store to buy that either. So I'm really over. I'm not even saying you should be able to shop there. Just let us drop off my computer to fix it. That feels like a solo process. Like no one else needs to be there.
I'm still fully stuck on the fact that Joann's Fabric is considered an essential business. And that is coming from someone who likes to sew and loves craft.
I'm pretty sure that's the case, right? Like I didn't make that up.
I have no idea. It's been
I would Google it on my laptop that's right next to me. But you know, I don't have any internet, so.
Dude, that is actually a mess. I feel as though the Apple Store most definitely should be considered an essential business.
Because, like, if it was just me being like, I want a new phone, or I get that if it was, but, like, I do need, I have another computer I can use. It's not like I 100% need it, but it would make my life and working from home a hell of a lot easier, especially because this is a Mac and the other one's a PC. I need my Mac and I can't use it.
Oh my gosh, I should have brought it to Arizona with me. I wonder if they're open here.
They are, because I even looked, and the closest one that's open is like 40 miles away, and I was like, do I drive there?
You might have to at some point,
but honestly. Then I'd have to drop it off
that's
and
annoying.
Pick it up.
Something to ponder.
Anyway, I feel like we both overshared what we were over, but should we move on to the real part of the podcast?
Let's overshare!
Okay, so today, Jocelyn suggested that we talk about is it just roommate horror stories or just worst roommate ever?
It's our worst roommate ever, and it cannot be a sibling. I want to preface
that.
It has to be someone outside of your family.
It's so funny you say that because I literally, when I was racking my brain, I was like, does that count? That would definitely be my number one.
No, it has to be someone that you consciously chose to live with and then immediately regretted, because at that point it's on you to a certain extent that you're stuck living with this person who is just like the worst of all time.
I don't have like one person necessarily, but I have a few collective incidents that we can definitely discuss. But I know that this was your idea. You're chomping at the bit, and I would love to hear.
Okay, so
because I want to preface for everyone listening or watching, hello, that I like can't imagine Jocelyn being difficult to live with because of how much we've roomed together on vacations and how difficult I am, I feel like. And not even difficult, but like that I'm like a slob. I sleep in. I'm like, you're literally like up, like, do you need anything from the store? Do you want me to do this? You're like just out and about and doing your own thing. I feel like you'd never even be home.
Well, this is a pretty memorable experience, and it happened when I was in college. It is actually the first girl that I met when I moved into the dorms on that very first day, and I thought she was super cool because we both moved into the UC Irvine.
Oh, sorry. I always say Davis because your last name is Davis.
Yeah, I know, it's confusing.
Because that's north. Never mind.
So I moved into the dorms a day early for whatever reason. So there wasn't that many people in my dorm, but there was one girl that was on my floor, and she came over to introduce herself, and I was like, oh, she seems really, really cool. And she was from NorCal, and she's like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I have no plans. No one is even in this dorm, and I don't know what's going on. She's like, we should go to a party. I met these frat guys, and they invited me to a party. So I was like, okay, I'm down. I want to go to a frat party. This sounds cool. My first day at college, like already going out. So immediately I was like, okay, she's pretty cool. Like, I want to hang out with her. We ended up living in the dorms together, obviously, for the rest of the year. And we made a ton of friends, even like some of my best friends to this day. People that were at my wedding, people that Lil, lived with me in the dorms. So cut to our second year, and all of us decide, there's 5 of us, we decide to get an apartment in Newport Beach. And here is where things went downhill so freaking fast. I don't even know if you're ready. You better freaking buckle up. So after we moved into this apartment, it was myself and 4 roommates, and I was really close with 2 of them. We move into this apartment. Everything seems totally fine. All of us kind of have our own separate lives going on.
Is she one of the 2 that you're friends with?
No, she's not. Because immediately
she's to the side now.
Yes, because immediately from the time we moved in, she started like acting a little strange. One of the things that she was doing that was like kind of precarious to us, which was not a trend at all at the time, was that she would just like eat by the handful yeast. Like she would just eat it like as meals. She would just carve out a bunch of yeast out of this container that she had in the kitchen.
Gun to my head, if you told me to like point out what yeast was, I wouldn't know. Is it just look kind of like a grain?
So it looks like a powder, and obviously you think about it to make bread, but people also use it like that are vegan and vegetarian to like season food, and you just like add a little bit of it. You don't like consume it by the handful. So that was when I saw her doing that. I was like, that seems a little interesting. Whatever. Like, cool. That's your eating habits. I like peanut butter. You like to eat yeast. Whatever.
Yeah, not the same.
And then she just like progressively started like doing a lot of weird stuff. Specifically, the one that really stands out is that my friend Elisa, who you know, had just purchased these brand new Roxy sunglasses, which you guys, when you're 19 and you buy a pair of new sunglasses and you invest in that, it might as well be a Rolex, right?
Well, and so, like that, what year was this?
This was early 2000s, so it was like the hottest item of all time.
That's any picture of me from the early 2000s. I am wearing Roxy, and I thought I was the coolest bitch ever.
Yes. So Elisa has these brand new, super cute Roxy sunglasses.
Top of the line.
And top of the line, girl. And she leaves them in our living room. And she leaves, comes back, And when she comes into the living room, the Roxy sunglasses are gone. So she starts asking everybody, like, where are my sunglasses? Have you seen them? Have you seen them? And she asked all of us, and everyone's like, no, I haven't seen them, including, you know, the girl that I'm referencing, who I think for the remainder of this, I will call Gertrude. So Gertrude's like, no, I haven't seen the sunglasses. Cut to like the next day, and all of us have decided wholeheartedly that it had to have been Gertrude that stole the sunglasses. So
also,
Elisa,
what do these sunglasses look like? Because it's not like a Ray-Ban situation where they all look the same.
No. They were like a cute Roxy, kind of like a slight cat eye, like tortoise vibe, very trendy then. So Elisa goes back and she's like, are you sure you haven't seen my sunglasses? And she's like, no. Then, an hour later, what should happen? The sunglasses reappear in the same place where they initially disappeared. And you want to know what Gertrude said? Gertrude said this. She said, I'm so sorry. I forgot that I tried on your sunglasses, but I thought it was just a dream. And I oftentimes get confused between dreams and reality. And we were like, what? So you just stole the sunglasses and are now telling us that you have this thing where you get confused between dreams and reality. And then it turned into a situation where homegirl was a full-on klepto. She was stealing things left and right. It was so bad.
That's a pretty ballsy excuse.
Yes, like, I know. I'm like, who even makes that up, right? So my friend Grace, it got so crazy, she had to actually put a lock on her door. But wait for it. Gertrude, homegirl, somehow found the spare key and was still able to get in there. And so when Grace goes into the bedroom and she's like, finds Gertrude in there, she's like, excuse me, what are you doing? Gertrude says this.
She caught her mid-steal?
Yes. And what did Gertrude say? Gertrude said, I was just writing you a little note, a sweet little note to leave on your computer. I just wanted to say hello. And we were like, huh? That makes no sense. But then when
in the room that she just
broke
got
into
with another key.
Broke into. Then, and here's where I had my own personal vendetta. I had made Rice Krispie treats from scratch for my boyfriend at the time for Valentine's Day.
I was going to say for who? You weren't eating them.
No, it was for my boyfriend at the time, and it was Valentine's Day. And I don't even bake, so this was a big deal for me. And I made them and I left them in the kitchen, and then like I went to school, and when I came back from school, guess what? They were all eaten.
That is literally straight out of a sitcom where it's like there's a cake on the counter and there's a note on it like, don't eat this cake for Timmy's party. And then like the girl, like the sister goes in and eats it.
And
Are you kidding?
What does Gertrude do? Because obviously I knew it was her. I looked at her and I was like, did you eat all my Rice Krispie treats that are for my boyfriend's Valentine's Day gift? And she just looked at me with this like weird little smile and just went, hee hee. And I was like, are you serious? Are you actually serious? But here's when things got really crazy, because we lived in Newport Beach, and
I would have, the last straw for me would have been the Rice Krispies.
I was already beyond the point of no return. So we lived in Newport Beach, and it's like a huge town for going out at night. There's like a lot of activity, and there's also a lot of like weird, I call it Peter Pan syndrome, like guys that never want to grow up, that just never leave Newport Beach, that are like 40 years old and trying to be at a college bar. You know what I mean? I wake up one morning and two of these old Peter Pans are asleep in our living room. And I was like, I don't even know who these people are. And they were old. Like, they were like my dad's age. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm freaking out. So I told my parents, okay, which if you guys know my parents, if you've ever seen my dad in any videos, he cannot BS people. So my dad comes over to our apartment to like build something or whatever. And Gertrude, who was naturally probably your hair color, Lily, like very, very blonde.
I'm still dying that the alias you chose is Gertrude.
Isn't it amazing? I know.
Gertie.
So Gertie decides to dye her hair black, full on dark black, like completely pitch black. And my dad walked into the apartment and he saw her and all he did was say, ew, why'd you do that?
Actually, which was had like someone just say that to me before when I walked in with a different color hair.
Which was just the most savage thing of all time. So things, obviously, there's a million other weird things that happened. Things that went missing, random strangers that were like asleep, like right next to my bedroom, just like a lot of crazy stuff. So by the end of the year, it was definitely obvious that we were never speaking again after we moved out, like absolutely never. But, you know, with Facebook and social media, you would think that like anyone and everyone would be on it. She is disappeared. I'm totally convinced that she's in witness protection. Cannot find her anywhere. I have asked some of my friends.
When you said that she dyed her hair, I was going to say, oh, did she steal something big this time and she needed to, like, change her identity?
I don't know, but honestly, there was something very strange going on there, and I would not be surprised if she was involved in some sort of crazy thief ring, because she was stealing so much stuff. But that was my worst roommate ever. Wow. And thankfully from there, it was just straight up really great.
I'm a little upset that I haven't heard that story before.
I know, it's really weird. I feel like it's because I'm so scarred. I actually reached out to my 2 girlfriends that I'm still like best friends with to ask them if they had any stories, and they were like reminding me of some of the stuff I just shared, and we were just like cackling because at one point we were even just like freaked out in general, like what is she gonna do? So all 3 of us would sleep in one bedroom together. Anyways, wait, God. What are your incidences? Because I know you have some good ones.
Oh, gosh. I never had, like, horrible roommate situations because my random roommate in college freshman year was just never there. So I had, like, the room to myself. And then Sarah was my suite mate. And we had met, like, they tell you everyone's name ahead of time so you can connect and, like, I guess, like,
email or call each other, like, who's bringing the mini
I was gonna say coordinate stuff, but like, what are you coordinating? So I like chat beforehand. I don't know. So Sarah and I had like already pretty much been like, okay, she seems cool, like I think we'll be friends. But we were suite mates, and then like second semester she ended up moving in, and then that was like the best situation ever because we literally just couldn't care less about anything. Sophomore year we had a interesting scenario. Because I actually just talked about this in my some of my story times. I feel like it comes up almost every one that relates to college. But that I lived at this apartment complex called The View, and it was just opening, and I feel like it's probably like most colleges have these kind of places now, but at the time it was like the beginning of the whole phase of these fancy high-end apartment complexes that have like a ton of amenities
with swimming pools,
like rooftop swimming
and
pools
like
and like tanning beds, and there was like they just had so many things that you were like, oh my God, this is so much stuff for so cheap. Absolutely. It was all made very cheaply as well. And like, then it was like gross because all of these kids would go party at these apartment complexes with no supervision, which like some people are 21. Most of them weren't, because most of the people that lived there were all sophomores and we're all like 20. So we all just partied in that building. So we had a roommate that we were friends with her, and she also had some mental health issues as well. But before we knew that, there was several scenarios where she like stole my sandals one time, and it was kind of like the sunglasses where it was like,
what's the deal?
But even actually
this,
on a
like,
different
thievery?
level, because this was like, they were my brown Havaiana sandals, because we're in Arizona, so that's all I wore because it's so hot there all the time. And I just remember that it's like, those like mold to your feet. Like after you wear them for a while,
they do.
It's not like it's like, like everyone has them, but it would be very clear to go try them on and be like, no, those are mine. Especially
these are mine. Yes.
Your girl had bunions.
You have bunions.
So
your bunions have severe indentations in these.
I did end up getting surgery the following year. But anyway, so there was a time that she would lock her door. Like, we never would steal anything, but she was the only one that would ever lock her door. And there was 4 of us living there. And she had taken them, and I didn't accuse her of it. I asked, but like, everyone knows if you're asking if you took something, like, it's like, have you seen them? Like, well, what do you mean have I seen them? If they're not in the general living area that we're sitting in, then probably not. Then they're in her room and she took them. So she denies it adamantly right off the bat. And then I realized that she's left at one point. Oh, I forgot to mention that the whole reason I even thought it was her, because otherwise, why would I assume anyone has stolen my $10 sandals? Like, these aren't like really nice, like, like Gucci like, could you imagine I ever had Gucci shoes in my life? They're literally like plastic sandals, rubber sandals. And I had seen, the way the apartment was set up is that there's 2 bedrooms on each side and then the living room in between. And there's no reason that she would need to go
to come
over
on
there
your side
unless she was doing laundry, which was on our side. So I'm sitting in the living room and I see her walk to that side, and I thought it was strange because she didn't have any laundry with her, and then she like kind of was like rummaging around in there,
creeping about,
but like didn't do anything, came back out, like didn't have anything. So in my head I was like, that's kind of weird. Gone. Couple hours go by. I go to put my shoes on, which I had just cleaned my room, which like was very rare. So like I knew where they were, and I had just organized all my shoes. So they're all next to each other in nice little rows in my closet. And I remember going in there and it's like all of them are there. And then there's just a hole where the sandals were. And I'm like, what the like,
but that's such a weirdly specific thing to take.
I
that's
know,
I don't
and
understand.
I still to this day don't understand. Maybe I could ask her now because like I feel like we've been through so much that like shoot.
Because I know that
I wonder
you
if she would
like
just not
had
even
like a
remember.
Brandy Melville or something in there. Like you had something nicer in there for sure than the sandals. Maybe a computer.
Like debatable. I don't know. But regardless, so I think it's so strange, and then I like go back out to the living room. I'm like, did I? Like, but I knew so it was like not even a question had I left them there. It was like 100%. There's a hole where they were. Why would I? But none of this makes sense.
Yes.
She leaves, and I'm like, wait, she did walk over. That's so weird, but she did walk over there earlier, and that's so random. Like, why? I go in her room, which she has actually left unlocked for once, and I open her closet, see all of her shoes, and I'm like, maybe I was wrong. I open the other side of the closet. All of her shoes are all lined up over here. My one pair of Javianas is just by themselves, far corner. And I just remember being like,
why?
What? But now, at this point, like, I've already asked her. She already said no. How
so what do you do?
Do I just take them back and then pull the same she did? And when she asked me, I go, I don't know, these are mine.
When she's like, oh, where'd you find your sandals? You just say, I don't know, and give her like a weird wink or something.
So at this point, I think I consulted with my other roommates, and like a couple hours go by, and I just left them there because I didn't want to. I don't know. She was a little volatile at the time, so I just like didn't want to like take them and then just have her be like, "You took something out of my room." Blah blah.
Yeah.
So instead, I kind of. I don't even remember if anyone else was there when I confronted her, but it was basically me being like, "So." We'll call her Gertie as well. I was like, so
great.
Gertie. And she's like, yeah, girl. And like super happy, super like pepped up, like great mood. And I'm like, you know how I asked you about my sandals earlier? Like, have you still not seen them? She's like, no, like that's so weird. Like, did you look? And like starts offering suggestions. And I was like, yeah, no, so honestly, I'm just gonna, I looked in your closet. I know that they're in there. I didn't take them because it felt weird, but like, can you just give, like, why did you take them? Can you just give them back? Like, at that point, I'm like, what the f*** do you, like, what are you doing? I'm like, do you need them that bad? Like, it made no sense. She had nicer shoes. And I'm like, why do you want my, like, gross, worn, sweaty Bunyan shoes? Like, that's strange. So, then she still denied it and claimed that they were hers. And I was like,
what?
Well, but they're not.
They have my bunion shape. My bunion shape is in the
I don't
shoe.
even think I was like pulling like well, if you look at my face, I was just going, well, I'm like, no, they're not. Like, you don't, I've never seen you wear it. Like, are you kidding? Really? And then goes and gets them and throws them towards my side of the apartment. She's like, fine, just take them. Pretending as if she's throwing like her shit, like she's giving up and I'm just being difficult, so she's just giving me the shit. And then I'm kind of like, cool, like thanks for my shoes back.
So I don't understand like the whole like theft thing. Like who knew having a roommate that was a thief was such a big thing? But I still wish you would have pulled the bunion card.
I just am more confused at what they think the outcome, like, wouldn't you pick things that you maybe wouldn't get caught for? Not like the really obvious ones that are like, hey, it'd be like wearing a shirt that says Lily and be like, nope, this is mine.
Or like stealing stuff that's maybe like nicer or fancier or something.
I have never had that to happen. So I'm trying to think of any others. Other stuff, it's mostly just been like weird food things. Like one of my roommates, I remember I used to be obsessed with and this will have so much more context now, I feel like, that I've come out as a stoner. But that I used to be obsessed with those Special K strawberry bars.
Oh, bomb. Those are so good.
They literally were like candy, and it would come in like boxes of, it was like boxes of 8 maybe, but then there was ones that are like the bonus pack and it had 12. Obviously, I'm buying the 12 because I eat like 5 at a time because they're so good.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's like one of those things like Fruit by the Foot or Gushers, where if you open the box, you eat all of them.
I was thinking more of
one seating.
The whole idea is like that they're healthy. So it's always like trying to be like 100 calories each. And it's like, well, yeah, but if you eat 5 of them.
You're like, I just ate 3 weeks worth of Special K bars. I'm pretty sure it's not healthy.
It was always like, that's my go-to high snack. So I remember I had just, and this was like early Clever, I think. So I like didn't have any money. So I remember I get home, long day, get pretty high, go to eat some, and I had like a fresh box that I hadn't even broken into yet. I am not someone that is like super protective over my food. Like I'm very generous with my stuff. And
you are, yeah.
I mean, like maybe not as generous when I was like poor, but I can afford to buy some special, like if you want 1 or 2, help yourself. That's fine. She ate.
How many?
The whole box is empty. So there's
two. But she left the box in the cupboard.
So there's 2 things here. 1, you ate all of them. 2, you left the box to give me enough of the hope to think that they were going to be there, and then they just weren't. Oh my God. What do you...
So did you guys ever discuss it?
I think I like brought it up to her, and I was like, so you had some of those Special K bars, huh? She was like, oh my God, yeah. And this was like, this excuse, totally understand, because like they were my high snack. She's like, oh my God, yeah, I got really high last night and they were so good. So sorry. But again,
but it's still like, weird to leave the box. To leave the box is the weird part.
12? I'm like, that's a lot. Are you okay? A lot of fiber.
That's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. She must have been like amped
It was very strange. I don't know. Oh, and then I guess the last one is just that I had a roommate at some point in my life. We'll keep it vague. No, it was in college. And we were friends and we are still fine. But she wasn't the most delightful to live with anyway, just because it was very much felt like it was her apartment, and me and the other roommate were just kind of there.
We're just living there, crashing
anything
there.
Went wrong, it was our fault, or like she just like felt like she did everything. But aside from that, like a whole just living was difficult. I'm not someone that like, I wouldn't say I had like bad luck with guys, but I would say that I just don't like guys. Like it, for every like,
it's hard for you to find someone you like.
Thank you for actually knowing how to talk.
Yes. You're like, you have high standards. Like you want a guy who like is going to actually entertain you.
And it's like, you know, someone, better example. I was trying to frame it as like, there's guys that I would hook up with at college, but also this was someone that I still liked sober.
Yes. Probably. Okay, that's a great way of doing it.
Probably one of the very few, like, I could count maybe 2 or 3. The entirety of college that I actually liked as a person outside of just like going and partying.
Going to parties. Yeah.
So you would think that your roommate and friend wouldn't sleep with basically the one, like that you actually like had really voiced that you liked. Not even just had sex with him.
No.
In our apartment.
Stop. What kind of terrible person does
this?
So then that is
I'm
horrible.
mad at both of them. But I don't find out.
I'm mad now. 10 years
I
later.
didn't find out for like 2 years.
Oh, see, that's why. That's when you know it's bad, because that means
they knew it was bad.
She was trying to hide it from you. She knew it was wrong.
Day,
knew it was wrong at the time.
She never apologized and never acknowledged it. And he basically cried. He basically apologized and was crying to me.
Crying
yes,
tears.
Cried.
Oh my gosh! So you did win at the end of the day. That's
and then
great.
I actually recently found screenshots that he had sent me that I had sent to my friend of him apologizing again, saying he felt like he needed to apologize again sober because he was drunk when we were talking and he was crying. Basically, like, can't believe he did that. So horrible. And I was like, yeah, kind of a dick move or something. And he's like, yeah, you could call me a lot worse names than that. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. That actually is the worst.
So, and then
like having a roommate that you
and
trust,
then the fact that
and
the
then having them do that.
I mean,
to
like,
you, not
and to
cool.
this day, like, I'm closer with him still as a friend than I am with her. But I'm like, the fact that he apologized and she just never acknowledged it.
Oh my gosh, that's actually crazy, and that is why the older you get, the more and more you're like, I cannot have a roommate anymore unless it's literally my favorite person on the planet.
Or just someone
That's
that
it.
is like very even keeled, that they don't have like mood swings, that you aren't going to have someone get home and like suddenly be mad. And it could be about something else, but then they like take it out on you. Reason me and my friend Sarah always were great together is because we're both like very like, what do you want to watch? Like, want to go get food?
Just very chill.
And it's just like,
very
what do you
chill.
want to do? Oh, you want to watch that movie? Sure. And then it was just like hanging out.
Yep. I ended up living with the same girls for the rest of college who are the ones who are still my friends to this day, like my best friends. And, you know, I just remember all of the great times we had in those Newport apartments. And very specifically, and this is going to date me, I remember watching episodes of the OC, living in OC, going to college in OC while it was originally
that's
airing.
pretty epic.
It's epic. It was the best.
Really just compare the dating. Do you want to know what show I can vividly remember watching when we moved into our apartment my junior year? And I remember we had like two like fake leather IKEA couches and a TV. That was like the only furniture in the room, and we're the only ones with cable at the time. So everyone came over to watch the premiere of Pretty Little Liars.
Stop. And I was already working at Clever, Lily. I was like already on the set of Pretty Little Liars as you were watching it in Arizona. That is crazy. That's actually crazy. Wow. Well, my mind is blown, but I think we have truly overshared. We have shared a lot. And now it is time for us to share well.
So long, share well. I hate us so much more now.
All right, so Lil, what would you like to share to bid our listeners and viewers share well?
Well, I had a few things that were going through my head, but most of them I feel like I've already shared on social media. So this is one that I just found out. Like everything I'm always like, oh, I saw this TikTok.
Honestly, TikTok has brought me a lot of joy.
The amount of TikToks that me and Megan send each other is a problem. Like, I'm just glad. I think she's the only person that I can send them to that won't get sick of them. But this isn't even one that I sent anyone, but I wrote it down because I wanted to do a video of things that I learned from TikTok where it's like actual things that's like, what? How did I not know that before?
Yes.
This is an iPhone hack, everyone. Apparently, and I don't know, maybe other people know this, but I don't think they do. One, I found out a long time ago, and I think everyone knows now, that to scroll all the way to the top, you hit the clock.
What?
If you're like in a text combo.
I don't think so.
To go to the top of the conversation, or like to load at least as far as it has loaded, you press
You hit the clock?
and then it automatically goes up.
No, did not know that. My mind is blown. What else do you have to share?
Another one that I found out, I want to say Kelsey Dara actually posted this in a story like forever ago. And I was like, what do you mean? That if you need to like get, I have a lot of issues with my touch screen that I'm like never, like I can touch somewhere and it feels like it's like 5 letters the other way. You hold down the space bar and you can move it and it decides where the cursor goes.
What?
Try it. Your mind will be blown. But that's
crazy.
So those are both very helpful. This next one I saw and I was like, what? If you have any app open, if you just swipe on the very bottom of the screen, it'll swipe between all of your apps that are open.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Chris has shown me that one before because he's kind of like a little app secret person as well. But that one blew my mind when I first saw it.
2 out of 3. But that one I've never seen before, and I feel like usually it's like, okay, but when would that come in handy? But I feel like if you're FaceTiming
all the
and
time
doing stuff,
all the
absolutely.
time.
Now I'm like, what else can you do?
And also, I think iPhone hacks, or whatever you want to call them, are something that we will actually use on a daily basis, unlike all these other weird hack videos that are out there that like you may use once or you may never use, but that's actually useful information. So I love that.
What I don't appreciate is, have you seen like the strawberry videos about washing?
Yeah, don't even talk to me about it.
Most
the
of them are
strawberry video on
fake.
TikTok ruined my
But
life.
people are putting,
I don't even care if it's
they're
fake.
putting bugs in it. And I'm like, do not make me think that that came out of that. I can't. No, I just there's
Disgusting.
nothing that pisses me off.
Disgusting.
I'm gonna add another over it. I know we're supposed to end on a high note, but what really grinds my gears is I fucking hate it when. Why would you make like hack videos and fake that it works? Like, I get that. It's a stupid
I don't
question
like that
because
at
like I
all.
understand because it gets views, but like how could you lie that much? I just do
And
ones
we've
that do
actually
work.
seen a lot of these videos. You and I have watched a lot of these videos because we made a few TikTok hack videos. And in watching the other people who have supposedly done these hack videos, I'm not going to call any of them into question personally. None of the stuff they're doing actually works. It's all a lie.
Oh my God, can we actually, I feel like
Sorry.
we just need to do a whole episode on TikTok. Who knows where it would go. But I was going to say the other trend that really pisses me off about people faking things, if I see one more of these, I've seen them across the board, different genres, but the most recent trend is girls that are, or guys, someone's answering their phone and basically it's someone yelling at them being like, hey, I was looking through my girlfriend's phone and you text her all the time. Like, what the dude, stay out of her DMs, blah, blah. And it's like some jealous boyfriend getting mad. And then the person filming is always like, dude, who are you even talking about? And then they like name their girlfriend and then it ends up being like, oh, that's my sister.
Oh, I haven't
And
seen
then
those.
and then the
Unfortunately,
person-
those are not getting served
Oh
up
my
to
God,
me.
you're so lucky. Don't ever watch them because then they'll keep coming. Because then all of them are fake. I see 5 a day at least. And it's like the script doesn't even change. I'm like, how do you people think that? I just don't understand.
Maybe they're all trying to become actors, but since this is Share Well and we're supposed to end on a positive note, I'm going to share something that I'm very obsessed with, that it's kind of a full circle moment, because even though I did have it out for the cycling community at the start of this episode,
Something's changed in the last 45 minutes?
There is something has changed drastically, and there is something that I really approve of and appreciate that they're responsible for, and that is bike shorts. I don't like the costumes that zip up, absolutely not into it, but I'm such a huge fan of bike shorts and the fact that they are back in style, because they're not as short as like the previous Lycra shorts, which might as well be a swimsuit, and they're not yoga pants, but they're like an in-between, and if you wear them correctly, you can pretend that you're Hailey Baldwin. Like, you look as cute as her. I'm very into it. But the bike shorts that I just purchased from Target, I will link to them in the info section, are so amazing and splendid, and I highly recommend 10 out of 10. Biker shorts are the bomb.
I feel like so much of my
There you go.
wardrobe these days is Target. One, because I love Target and they have a lot of sweatshirts.
It's the only thing
And
that's
two,
open.
because it's whenever I was like, okay, well, I need pasta, I need soup. Oh, sweats.
Exactly. And the Target clothing section is amazing.
And always
I will stand by that
very
forever.
conveniently located near the checkout. So even if you forget,
Right at the front.
they remind you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that brings this episode to a close. But you guys, hit the comment section if you're watching this video on YouTube and let us know your own Gertie stories. Also, if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, on Apple, anywhere that podcasts are, we really want to know what you guys think. So if you're watching, take a screenshot, share it on socials. We'll be sharing it all over the place as well. But we want to know what you guys think about the show, and we really need your support as well.
I mean, if you don't like it, maybe you could keep that to yourself. But if you like it, we would like you to share.
Exactly. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast anywhere that you can. It's now officially on Apple Podcasts, which we're so excited about. So you can leave 5 stars and a review. I've already read some of them. Lily, we already have reviews on Apple, by the way. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I guess, Lily, we should bid them farewell. But first, we have to say to each other,
Thank you for sharing.
thank you for sharing. End scene. And with that, the show is over. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, follow the rules, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for being
Bye.
here today.